Fist from the champion. It's over. Chris Cyborg with her 12th first.
And I can fight her.
Stop scrolling right now because a 20-year-old UFC knockout machine just sent a terrifying message to one of the most dangerous undefeated fighters on the planet. And the woman she targeted was none other than Dakota Ditcheva. After a brutal knockout victory, she didn't celebrate, she didn't smile, and she didn't call for an easy fight. Instead, Alice Pereira looked straight ahead and made it clear, she's coming to destroy Dakota. And just like that, this turned into a UFC versus PFL war. At UFC Fight Night 272, Alice Pereira delivered one of the nastiest knockouts of 2026. Her opponent Hailey Cowan never saw it coming. A perfectly timed step-in knee landed flush, freezing Cowan instantly before follow-up strikes forced the referee to dive in. This wasn't just another win on a fight card. This was the kind of finish that tells an entire division a new threat has arrived. And what makes it even scarier is her age. Alice Pereira is only 20 years old, still at the very beginning of her career, yet already fighting like a veteran killer. With 7 wins, 1 loss, and multiple knockouts, she's becoming one of the fastest rising names in women's MMA. Before reaching the UFC, she tore through regional competition with highlight reel finishes and raw power that made people pay attention immediately. If the surname sounds familiar, that's because she draws inspiration from Alice Pereira. The same calm violence, the same terrifying striking mechanics, the same feeling that one clean shot can end your night instantly. She carries that same predator mindset into every fight. But after this latest knockout, she shocked everyone. Instead of calling out a ranked UFC contender, she went outside the promotion and targeted one of the most feared names in women's MMA, Dakota Ditcheva. That's where things became serious. Dakota Ditcheva is no ordinary fighter. She's undefeated at 15-0, a world champion in the Professional Fighters League, and one of the most dangerous strikers in combat sports. 12 knockouts. Elite Muay Thai. Sharp body attacks. Vicious knees. Precision timing. She doesn't just beat opponents, she breaks them mentally and physically. Even in her last performance, she dominated while fighting through injury. So now fans are obsessed with one question. What happens if Alice...
Fighting hard of Fiona Makla, but John McCarthy has... Contesting the game is easy.
Beautiful.
Look at this
Real towards
yeah. Oh, trying to drag down. Oh, nice right hand. Drives it straight
was
through.
clean. That's beautiful from Dakota.
Alice Pereira and Dakota Ditcheva ever collide. On paper, it sounds crazy. Different promotions. Different stages of career. Different levels of experience. But mentally, they are built the same way. Both aggressive. Both fearless. Both finishers. Both willing to walk into fire. Alice Pereira brings youthful explosiveness, knockout instincts, and reckless confidence. Dakota brings championship experience, refined Muay Thai precision, and proven dominance against elite opponents. One is the hungry new predator. The other...
Yeah, Conor McGregor follows me on Twitter. Like, I was told that as well the other day by my brother's friend. So, you know, things like that are like massive.
Is the established queen of destruction. This isn't just striker versus striker. This is chaos versus control. Youth versus experience. UFC versus PFL. Future hype versus current dominance. And Alice just did something most young fighters would never dare.
Alice digging deep for sure. Santos is in big trouble. She's in big trouble. Dakota Ditcheva to the body again for a championship.
She's 15-0-12 finishes.
She skipped the rankings, ignored safe options, and kicked open the door by calling out Dakota directly. Now the real question is this. Does Dakota Ditcheva respond? Does the UFC and PFL rivalry explode into the biggest women's crossover fight possible? Or did Alice Pereira just wake up a monster she is?
You're the next big thing, Dave. Look up your board.
At PFL's golden fusion of speed and power, Dakota Ditcheva delivered one of the most savage finishes in women's MMA when she stepped into the cage against Hasna Gaber. What happened that night wasn't just another win on the record. It became one of those moments that fans still talk about because it showed exactly why Dakota was destined for something bigger. In less than a minute, she turned a professional fight.
I'm just like, get me anything, literally. But like you said, you know, it was kind of, it's hard. I get it's hard for PFL, you know, they've put all the girls in the tournament and then now they need to find someone that's going to kind of give me a good competition. They can't give me someone that's, you know, just kind of signed to the PFL and not really had that much experience because it doesn't make sense. I've just beat Santos very easily. I think that's another thing that I have to understand is like if I'd had a 5-round war with Santos, there would have been a few more people in there that would have been more of a match. But
into a brutal statement. At the PFL playoffs in 2022, Dakota entered the matchup as a dangerous prospect, but many still viewed her as a young talent who needed time to develop. Hasna Gaber was expected to test her, push her, and maybe expose some weaknesses. Instead, Dakota erased every question in only 58 seconds. From the opening exchange, Dakota looked sharper, faster, and more aggressive. She wasted no time reading the range. Leg kicks started landing immediately, forcing Gaber to react. Then Dakota closed the distance with perfect timing and unleashed the strike that changed everything. A devastating knee to the body that folded Gaber instantly. The fight was over almost before it began. There was no comeback, no second round, no dramatic battle. Just total domination. Dakota didn't simply win that night. She announced herself as a future star with one of the nastiest stoppages of her early career. It was the kind of finish that tells the entire division a new problem has arrived. After the bout, fans exploded online. Many joked that Dakota ended her career, but behind the memes was real shock at how violently and quickly she dismantled an opponent on a major stage. 1 second the fight was live, the next it looked like a highlight reel knockout people would replay for years. What made it even crazier was where Dakota stood in her career at the time. This was only her 6th professional fight. Most prospects need years to build rhythm, confidence, and killer instinct. Dakota already looked polished, dangerous, and ready for elite competition. She wasn't following the normal path. She was smashing through it. That body knee became more than a finish. It became a signature.
Dakota's a superstar. What's up, Triad? You're the next big thing, Dave. Look at your boys. Great to see it, Triad. Strong woman, good girl. Fucking awesome. Great to see you. Great to find you. Love it, love it. What's it back? What are you ready? We have now a walk of myself here. Look, as superstar back there. 100%.
A warning shot to every woman in the division that if Dakota gets close, the fight can end instantly. Her mix of Muay Thai precision, speed, athleticism, and timing made her feel different from the average prospect. She looked built for the modern era of MMA. And that's where the real fear begins for top flyweights around the world. Fighters may come in with championship experience, technical skill, or legendary
Back elbow, and now a left hand. And she shot
names, but Dakota brings something harder to prepare for. Youth, explosiveness, unpredictability, and violence at full speed. She doesn't just score points. She changes careers in seconds. Since then, Dakota has continued proving that the hype was real, taking out rising contenders and respected veterans alike. But many fans still point back to the Hasna Gaber finish as the moment they realized this woman was not normal. So what comes next for Dakota Ditcheva? Does the UFC eventually make the call and bring her into the biggest spotlight in the sport? Or does the PFL keep their most dangerous weapon and continue building around her dominance? One thing is certain. When Dakota Ditcheva is preparing for a fight, opponents aren't just training. They're praying. Who should... Chris Cyborg just sent shockwaves through women's MMA after publicly targeting Dakota Ditcheva. The former world champion and one of the most feared names in combat sports made it clear that she wants the undefeated British star next. This wasn't some casual mention or playful challenge. It felt like a direct warning from a legend who believes she still rules the game. Cyborg has built a career by crushing hype trains, destroying contenders, and proving doubters wrong. Now she's looking at Dakota Ditcheva as the next name on her list. If this fight ever happens, it would be youth, speed, and momentum against power, experience, and violence. Dakota Ditcheva has become one of the fastest rising stars in women's MMA. Undefeated, explosive, and packed with highlight reel finishes, She has turned herself into the face of the PFL women's division. Every fight feels like a statement. Her striking is sharp, her movement is clean, and her confidence keeps growing. Fans see her as the future, but legends like Cyborg may see her as the perfect opportunity to prove the old guard still matters. That's what makes this potential clash so dangerous. Dakota has looked unstoppable, but she has never faced someone with Cyborg's level of destruction and championship experience. Chris Cyborg is not just another opponent. She is a wrecking machine with years of dominance across multiple promotions.
Even though I look up to her a lot, I still want to be in her position and be able to beat someone like her. So.
You could fight any female right now. Who would you want to go with?
Valentina Shevchenko right now. I want to be at the top.
This is legacy versus legacy to be. Valentina is one of the most well-rounded fighters in MMA history. She reads opponents like code, downloads your game in real time, and exploits the first bug she finds. Dakota? She's got that unorthodox rhythmic striking that could actually throw Valentina off early. Long knees, feints, switch kicks from odd angles. But here's where Reggie gets real. Dakota still needs more 5-round reps. Her pace can dip late, and Valentina is the queen of championship round adjustments. Still, imagine a fully dialed in Dakota with sharpened counter wrestling and championship caliber cardio on point. If she dethrones Shevchenko, especially by spectacular knockout, it wouldn't just be an upset. It would catapult Dakota into instant superstardom and turn her into a household name overnight. We're talking late show appearances, global endorsements, the works. That's the rocket ship moment everyone's waiting on, and it would stamp her GOAT application in permanent ink.
Strikeforce, Bellator, UFC, wherever she went, she left damage behind. Her pressure, strength, and knockout power changed the standard for women's MMA. Even now, many fighters still avoid the idea of facing her. If Dakota were to beat Cyborg, it would instantly launch her into another level of stardom. She would go from rising contender to certified legend killer overnight. But if Cyborg wins, she proves that greatness doesn't expire and that the next generation still has to pass through her. The drama gets even bigger because Dakota Ditcheva has also been linked with UFC rumors. Conor McGregor praised her publicly, fans keep demanding she join the UFC, and many believe Dana White would love to sign a marketable undefeated striker with star power. But Dakota has remained with PFL, creating a growing war between promotions. PFL knows.
You come back, what are you looking forward to?
I mean, I have just re-signed with PFL. We've come to a great...
She is one of their biggest assets. UFC fans want her inside the octagon. That tension makes every next move massive. If PFL can make a mega fight with Cyborg, they keep Dakota in the spotlight while proving they can build blockbuster women's fights without UFC involvement. Dakota's recent performances only increased the hype. She dominated strong opponents, showcased brutal clinch work, elbows.
She's never won a belt, as she said. She's not a complete fighter, is she? I'm not a complete fighter. She definitely isn't either, so... But whatever.
Knees, and technical striking that looks made for modern MMA. Many believe she could challenge UFC champions right now. Others think she still needs more rounds, tougher grapplers, and experience in championship wars. That's why names like Cyborg or Valentina Shevchenko keep coming up. Those are the tests that separate stars from all-time greats. Dakota has the talent, but she still needs defining moments. Another layer to the story is Dakota's emotional return after injuries. She has dealt with setbacks, long layoffs, and frustration, but every time she comes back she looks sharper and more dangerous. That resilience has made fans support her even more. She doesn't just look like a future champion. She looks like someone building a legacy through adversity. If she finally gets the mega fight fans want, the storyline is already written. So now the big question remains. Does PFL book Dakota Ditcheva versus Chris Cyborg? Do they send Dakota to UFC eventually? Or does Dakota continue building her own empire where she is? One thing is clear. Dakota Ditcheva is no longer just a prospect. She is now the name legends call out, champions discuss, and fans argue about daily. Whether it's Cyborg...
Because there's one name that I am dying to see in the UFC, and that's Dakota Ditcheva.
What a fighter.
Yeah.
What a fighter.
Talk about the women's
Can you imagine her?
division needing a superstar, and talk about